This van is parked outside our studios on 5th Avenue in Huntington. We need your help to fill it with non-perishable food items, and here's the reason why. The extreme heat and power outages from storms has put the Huntington Area Food Bank in dire straits. Friends of Catherine Taylor put this wreath here in honor of the victim as friends, family, and even this neighborhood continue to deal with the shock of what has happened. Kincaid had thrown the pitch to the batter, and his momentum took him this direction. The batter swung, and the line drive hit Kincaid in the head. The department believes the move will help them reduce cost, improve response times, and possibly add some paid firefighters to the staff.
I understand we have some new information just into the 13 newsroom.
That's right, April. A few minutes ago, I talked with a spokesperson with the state fire marshal's office. They have ruled this fire as an arson. Investigators on the scene, one by one, ruled out any possible accidental causes. Therefore, they say now that this fire was intentionally set. Now, the other aspect of this fire is those oxygen tanks that were inside this trailer. Investigators believe they have rounded up all of these oxygen tanks that went throughout the neighborhood. One of those tanks went 300 feet into a neighbor's yard. That's right, April. Marshall Bailey grew up in a rural part of Putnam County near the town of Poca. Friends and neighbors there are saddened and devastated by this tragedy. So you've known him since he was inception. Barbara Smith knew Marshall Bailey all his life. She was like a second mother and remembers when Bailey decided he wanted a career in law enforcement, proud of the decision, yet she's still worried about him.
Before that, every time I'd hear something happen in the county that he worked in, I'd think, oh no, I hope it's not Marshall. Not that I wanted anybody to be hurt, but he's just like my own son. He played with my sons, he hunted with my sons. He was just a wonderful person. I'm deeply, deeply hurt.
Felt like somebody kicked me in the gut.
That's how Poca High School principal Vic Donaldson described being told of the shooting death of Marshall Bailey. Donaldson coached Bailey in the mid-1980s when Bailey played basketball, describing him as a well-mannered, good student.
Yes, sir, no, sir type of kid. Came from a good family. Just it definitely hits home.
Bailey is also being remembered as a person dedicated to whatever he did.
You know, he was one of our own. And it just leaves empty space right now.
Donaldson says Poca High School is planning to remember Bailey at the next home football game. Details are still being worked out. We'll let you know what is being planned. In the studio, Gil McClanahan, 13 News. Absolutely, Kelly. Authorities tell us an investigation sparked this investigation into the alleged drug activities at the Odyssey shop. And now they say a major player in the synthetic drug trade in Putnam County is in police custody, accused of selling prescription drugs and synthetic marijuana. No, what do you sell here?
We sell records and guitars. You can go in and have liquor on if you like.
Jessica Stanton of Winfield is an employee at the Odyssey shop. She's being charged with delivery of a controlled substance as law enforcement finds synthetic marijuana and guns inside the business. Are you selling synthetic marijuana out of there?
No, sir.
Well, then why are the police here?
I don't know. Ask the police.
David Bowen is the owner of the business and is also being charged with delivery of a controlled substance. Synthetic marijuana, you selling that here?
No, sir.
Well, then how come the police found it here? Investigators say an informant made numerous undercover buys inside the business for the past 6 months. Adding Bowen and the business are a major part of Putnam County's synthetic drug trade, specifically among young people.
We see a number of vehicles that are coming in with 2 to 4 people probably in a vehicle. One person going in the shop, in there for just a short amount of time, coming back out of the shop with nothing in their hands.
The Odyssey shop is in the Putnam Village Shopping Center in Tays Valley, near other businesses.
I don't like it. It's kind of scary.
How so?
Well, because all the guns and the drugs and ugh. Yeah, we have a lot of children that come into our business.
So sometimes it masks what they're doing, if you see what I'm saying, if you got the normal traffic coming in and out.
Those two could face additional charges, including charges from those guns found inside the business. The message investigators want to send to the public is synthetic marijuana and bath salts are illegal, and those caught selling or using them will be charged. Live here in the Huntington newsroom, Gil McClanahan, 13 News. Rain Dutney of Hurricane woke up Tuesday morning to find out he was one of hundreds to receive KKK materials laying in his front yard.
We live in the 21st century, you know. You don't think of us as having these kind of groups. You'd like to think society's progressed forward.
The literature was in a plastic bag with rocks in it to keep the package from blowing away. City leaders believe the distribution was done overnight.
It appeared that they had just thrown them out of the vehicle as they were driving by, threw it in their front lawn or on their front porch. So it was a quick drive-by and throw these things everywhere, and there were many, many of them.
Those who received the KKK materials were quick to react.
Kind of mixed, a bit laughable, but concerned that there was contact information to join. If there wasn't any information, I would have thought it was a joke.
You'd have to want to be an outcast to even consider putting your name to this. A mental defect, almost.
The only thing police can do to those who are distributing this material is cite them for littering, because this material is protected free speech. The contact information listed a Beckley address and phone number. We called to get a comment, but instead got a recording.
Our leader is the Lord. Yes, our Lord and Savior is the one person we all look up to.
We like to think of them as being something of the past, but I guess they're still around.
Hurricane City leaders received hundreds of calls of concern over the literature. Mayor Edwards says they advise citizens to throw the materials away. In Hurricane, Gil McClanahan, WOWK. Floodwaters moved this trailer off its foundation and washed it some 500 feet to where it is right now. The family that lived there was rescued, but their neighbors also had to deal with flooding.
Water was up to here on the trailer, all the way around it.
Paul Griffey and his family were asleep as the storm blew by. He made it to the living room to make sure things were okay.
And then I opened the door and it was just like a river right here. It was up so high.
At that point, Paul tied a rope to his porch, threw the line to his neighbor to get his family to higher ground.
He held on to it while we walked through water probably up to here. And we made it.
Floodwaters swept away his neighbor's trailer and their 2 vehicles. 2 women and 4 dogs were inside.
I don't see how they survived it, but they did, and I'm glad. I thank the Lord for it.
We'll go in and assess how much water damage is in the house to determine, if we do individual assistance or what we're going to be able to do.
Paul has never been through this kind of flash flooding. He says there is extensive damage inside his trailer, but the family was able to salvage some things.
Unbelievable, the way water can come up so quick.
The family that lived in this trailer is now staying with relatives as neighbors begin the task of cleaning up. In Olive Hill, Kentucky, Gil McClanahan, WOWK. The water at the wave pool is usually a little choppy. Last week, the controls for the motor that makes the waves wore out after 30 years, leaving the wave pool waveless.
There's a massive power drop between the main breaker and the individual breakers that run the motors, so we can't get it to start up.
Williamson says being without waves is washing away some business.
Well, we come to the wave pool because it's something different other than going to the pool and just being at a regular pool. We come because we like the waves.
We came here for the waves and slides, but there's not any, so it's no big deal, I don't guess.
Right now, this water is very cool and refreshing on this hot summer day. Park leaders are hoping others feel the same way, despite the fact there are no waves here at the wave pool.
A lot of people are calling us. Obviously, there are some that are disappointed, some that are angry, but it is what it is. And a lot of the people we're talking to are actually saying it's still water. It's still a 90-degree day. We want to come to the pool and get wet.
Actually, it's a lot more disappointing about the slides. I was looking forward to the slides.
To make matters worse, the slides at the wave pool are also closed while crews refurbish the structures. They are expected to reopen in a couple weeks. Meanwhile, Williamson is adding up how much it's going to cost to fix the problem so waves can once again make a splash in the wave pool. In Putnam County, Gil McClanahan, WOWK. Missy Bowles of Bancroft has spent the last 9 months in a labor of love, putting together an event in honor of her father, Richard Dorsey, who died 4 years ago of mesothelioma.
When it's your daddy and he makes you feel like he's sheltered you and taken care of you all his life, I felt like that's what I wanted to do when he got sick. Well, now that he's not here, I just want to keep him going and keep him in my heart.
One way is Rod's benefit for Meso. Bowles says her dad's memory is the driving force behind organizing the event. The third annual Rod's benefit for Meso is Saturday in Eleanor. The purpose is to raise money through a variety of activities to find a cure for mesothelioma.
It makes me really proud of her that she wants to do this for her dad in her dad's name. And it's hard sometimes because it keeps it, you know, alive. Keeps the heartache alive too.
The big event of the day is the walk-run that starts here at Eleanor Town Park and takes participants on a 3-mile journey through town.
As Richard Dorsey looks down from heaven, Bowles and her mother believe he would have some opinions about this weekend's event.
Well, he's probably a little embarrassed, but also proud too.
With his absence, I have to step in his shoes and do this for other people because I know he would.
Bowles says the goal this year is $20,000, but perhaps more important is touching the lives of another family impacted by this disease while keeping the memory of another alive. In Putnam County, Gil McClanahan, 13 News.